Alright, everybody, we are about to get rolling here. Just doing a quick post to tell everybody we're live. All right. So we have announced the Schlub officially. Very excited. We have officially been announced by Image, and we are listed in the new issue of Previews, so you can now order the Schlub. It will be out in August. So I encourage everyone to head over to their comic book shop tomorrow and go put it on your pull list. Hello there, stinker buns. Thanks for tuning in. I think I'll probably show off some artwork here first. I have some of the original art here for the pages that were in the preview, which is in Previews and on the Image website. Been a hectic day. Chicago tried to give me a parking ticket today. I parked in a paid spot with no sign in front of it, and they said that it was street cleaning day, yet the app still let me pay for the parking. I found that a little frustrating, but had some dad duties today, taking care of my kid. That's good, but also stressful. And then I'm also an organizer of Cake, which is a show here in Chicago that is coming up here in June, about a week or two. So that's been a lot of work too. It is fun, and I'm very excited for Cake. I will be there tabling with some stuff, some new items. But it is a lot of work putting a show together. So I'm going to wait until there's at least 3 people in here. And then we're going to take a look at some Schlub pages. This is what I'm going to ink tonight after we look at some pages. This is our hero from the Schlub. Well, there's quite a few heroes, I guess, but this is the main guy here, Cirrus, like the cloud. I'm excited to show some character designs off at some point too. Some of the KLC press people have seen those already, and my patrons have seen those already. Hello, Ikte. Good to see you. Total excellence. Hope you're having a great day. Been a stressful day, but I hope everyone else's day has been good. All right. There's at least 3 of us here. Let's run through these pages. So here's our cover. Man, I was originally gonna go with a straight up Incredible Hulk type thing here, where there's like the big Hulk and the little guy, and I sort of went with a little bit of that homage in here, but I tried to make it my own thing and bring in other influences. I love destroyed cities like in Akira, and I thought that was pretty fitting. The world's kind of falling apart, and we have these 2 guys here, and it's like, okay, what's going on with these guys? Are they going to save the day, or did they cause the damage? We don't really know. And Cirrus is our man here. He is the greatest superhero in the city, and this is Roger. He is a schlub. He's a dentist and a schlub. Doesn't make a lot of great decisions. He is a lot of fun to draw. They're both very fun to draw. Pretty happy with how the cover turned out, and the colored version turned out great too. Mike Spicer is on colors on the book, and he is fantastic. Thank you, Ikthi. Thank you for the kind well wishes. The hard thing working on this initially was just finding that balance between sort of a classic, tough superhero look, but also there's a lot of humor in the book. I wouldn't say it's a straight humor book. I'd say it's more of a comedy humor or a comedy action thing, sort of like I don't know, Lethal Weapon or Die Hard if you're into movies, or My Hero Academia, or things like that have a lot of fun in them, but there is some seriousness and some badass stuff in it as well. So that's the cover. It was very fun. And then this first page, I was like, whoa. They wanted me to draw the inside of a person's mouth in the dentist. And I was like, that sounds nuts, and I cannot wait to give it a shot. Had to look a lot of reference up for this. It was hard to find pictures from the inside of someone's mouth, so there are some creative liberties. And the tools, I did use real dentist tools as reference, but tried to kind of make them look a little more fun, a little more cool. So played up things like textures, and the scale is a little loose on some of them. And then I wanted to get a shot inside the dentist's office here. So I read the script and it was like inside the dentist's office. I was like, oh no. It's like that's going to be a lot of stuff to figure out how to draw. A dentist's office I know is full of so many things. And I made the decision to pack it with even more things. Roger's got 3 or 4 different lunches around the office here. We got a news channel showing some stuff that's happening around the city. And we got the trash can over here, all of his tools. This one was pretty fun. I like kind of how I did this intersecting panel here. I've been trying to do more of that. I like that with a different panel border weights. I made a mistake up there. I wonder if I took that out. Page 3, we get a closer look into the mouth of this poor victim of the dentist here. I think Ryan Stegman has a problem with dentists. I think he hates them. And so he wanted to, as he was telling me about the project, I thought, well, if we're doing a scene in the dentist's office, we're going to make it nice and gruesome and really just put her through her paces. So this poor old woman is all hopped up on nitrous oxide, and Roger, being sort of the shifty guy he is, might be getting her to sign off on more things than she initially showed up for. But you'll have to read the comic to find out exactly what's going on. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Stinker Buns. Yes, horrors. Hey, Brunson's here. Good to see you. Yeah, Mike has been doing a little bit of that cell shading stuff. I think Mike is great. Like his biggest strength is probably just his color choices, but he does really cool things with texture, and I haven't seen him do as much of the sort of blocky stuff before, but I do like it, and so whenever I see him do it, I'm like, do that, that's great. And he's been doing that on my stuff a little bit, and on the stuff he's coloring for Ryan on the covers, which it looks so cool. I cannot wait for you guys to see the next few covers. Like the ones I'm doing, I'm very proud of, but also Ryan's doing covers for each issue, and they are looking so cool. I mean, what's cooler than seeing Ryan Stegman draw these characters, right? I mean, he created them, but then I made the visuals, but then it's like back to him for drawing it. And then we have a 2-page spread to end our little preview here, which I was glad we were able to include this in the preview for people. This one took a little bit. Got a little bit of rubble on here. A little bit of rubble. I try to put a lot of detail in all these different things, the tongue depressors and Q-tips and the little dental tools flying around, and Roger making a leap, and then having just rubble everywhere. I sometimes, speaking of Mike, I sometimes feel bad sending Mike and his flatter, if he has one of these pages, because I know that it is a lot of detail, but they have crushed it on every turn. So, it's like I worry about it because I think it would be a lot of work, and Mike just like does it. He's such a pro. He's just like, boom, got it, no problem. And it's been really great. But this page was a lot of fun. This took a lot of figuring out. I did a big grid on it, and then sort of warped the grid a little bit to kind of create not like a fisheye necessarily, but just like a slightly skewed perspective. And then pretty happy with a few of these things. These hands turned out pretty good. I actually like Roger's hands down here the best. This hand right here I'm really proud of. And then this poor woman is, again, one of the caliper things pops out right out of her mouth there. And there is some awesome writing that goes along with this, and some awesome colors. So, I was happy to show some of the original art. And thank you so much, Ikli, for the compliments there on the splash page. But yeah, I'm stoked. I'm very excited about this book, you guys. Everyone watching, I hope that you will put it on your pull list, and also, go and tell your friends about it, because I don't know. I think it's a new book that people can be excited about. I think it's the kind of book that can be exciting for people that love comics. You know, me and Kenny and Ryan especially we love comics, and so we're trying to do a comic that is all about the best things in comics, but then with this cool story that Ryan and Kenny are coming up with. So I really think that if you've been looking for something to get you pumped about going in on Wednesdays again, the Schlub is for you. So that's some of the original art. Thanks for taking a look at that. And now we're going to get to inking on this bad boy right here. It is a little tiny. I've mentioned before, I'm still figuring out my camera stuff. Let me see if I can get this thing to focus. Down here. Yeah, okay. Sorry if the focus bounces sometimes. But yes, we're going to ink this Cirrus. I penciled him a little bit earlier today while my kid was at like a park district class in the Chicago Park District. From Beef Bros to Schlub, that's right. And sorry guys, I will have this here just so I don't completely ignore the chat when I get in the zone here. Sometimes I do. But yeah, Beef Bros was a blast, and was just talking to Aubrey about it the other day again about you know, some stores that were interested in carrying it. This is a good sort of project to follow, that one, because Beef Bros had a lot of humor in it, obviously, and this one does too. It's kind of a different style of humor, but what both of them had was these opportunities to like play with exaggeration of characters, but also have these moments of like super fun, actiony, you know, violent stuff. I would say this book's probably a little more violent than Beef Bros. A little, you know, it's still pretty, you know, it's not like The Walking Dead or something, but we're gonna have some cool, you know, action in it that is a little, you know, hopefully hard hitting. So that's right, Brunson. Matt Allison will be at Cake here in Chicago. If you guys want to meet the man behind Cankor, he is one of our special guests at Cake this year, and we are so excited to have him because he is a recent Chicago transplant. So we're happy to have him at the show, but also here in the city now. I've been a fan of Matt's stuff for ages. There's a store here called Quimby's, and Quimby's carries, you know, small press, self-published stuff is sort of their specialty. And a long time ago, I picked up one of the small ash can size Cankors. Cankor is the comic that Matt does, and I was like, what is this? This is nuts. This is so awesome. And started following him online and stuff, and then eventually had the pleasure of making his acquaintance at C2E2 a number of years ago. And we did a kind of a drawing exchange. I drew his character, Cankor, and he drew a character I do called Simon. And was just really impressed with his work, but also he's a very cool guy. And so he's going to be a special guest at Cake, and he's doing a really cool talk about sort of getting yourself in a good mental space to make art. So a lot of us, you know, might struggle with that sometimes. I know I do. Especially if you have a day job and you're trying to find the energy and the will to keep making. You know, I was there for a long time. For 15 years, I had a day job and was trying to find the time after work to draw. And so Matt's doing a little talk on sort of his methods for getting yourself in a good headspace to work. So if you are coming to the show, definitely hit that up and check it out. Yeah, man, definitely. Cool characters. There's a lot of cool, you know, I didn't write the book, but I did have a lot of say in the character designs, which was great. You know, Ryan and Kenny gave me a lot of ability to have input, and I don't usually toot my own horn, but the character designs in this book are pretty cool. They're pretty cool. I found it extremely difficult to try to design a superhero. You know, sci-fi stuff is pretty easy in some ways because it's a sort of a big genre that has a lot of aesthetics in it. But we really wanted to have a character that evoked classic superheroes but still felt fresh and different, and and iconic. And you know, um, I think I think we nailed it on a lot of them so far. I'm really happy with the design of Cirrus. It went through a lot of iterations. I'll have to do a deep dive someday on all that design process stuff. It's so much fun to design stuff, but when you're really trying to get it, it's hard. It's really hard. I went through multiple passes. I showed it to a lot of people to get their input. A lot of my friends were super helpful and instrumental in it, but especially like Ryan and Kenny, of course. But then, some other friends of mine that I can bounce things off of, like Riley Rossmo is really, really good at designing characters, and so I made sure that he saw them and gave me some input. And my friend Daniel Warren Johnson was able to look at them and kind of give me some feedback, and that was really helpful. Brian Level, Ryan Lee. I really encourage people to show your stuff to other people. I know it can be a little scary because they might say it sucks or a lot needs to change about it, but man, it really improves the work. It really, really does. I'm a firm believer in getting critiques and showing stuff around to other people, in your medium and outside of your medium. But anyway, I think they're fun characters. I hope people like the way they look. The comic shop down in the Loop, you're probably thinking of Graham Cracker Comics. They have a few different locations, but they are the main store that most people go to in the Loop. Back when I used to work in the Loop, I used to go over to Graham Crackers pretty much every Wednesday for 15 years. I used to know everyone who worked there. There's been a lot of turnover since then, I think. And I shop at Challengers now, proudly. It is my preferred shop for all sort of mainstream type titles. And then Quimby's and Chicago Comics, both here in Chicago, are also really great, but more for independent type work and art books. But Graham Crackers is fine. They're cool. I mean, they're a chain, so they have some advantages and disadvantages of being a chain. They tend to get pretty big names in for signings and stuff, and they tend to have, a good stock of whatever's, the big books right now. And it's a convenient location for anyone who works downtown. I think it's the only shop downtown that I can think of. Oh, cool, Indiana, yeah. Well, if you drive up Chicago ever, there's a lot of good shops up here, honestly. So Graham Crackers is absolutely cool. No beef with them or anything, but if you get a chance next time, hit one of those other ones I mentioned, or there's a new shop up here on the north side. It's pretty far if you're going downtown, but if you're up here on the north side, Howling Pages is really great. They have they specialize in more like collections and art books and indie books, so they don't have like floppies, but they have any trade you could possibly want that, it's a very well curated store. So G Mart, okay, yeah, that's over in Logan. I've been there a couple times. Not really close to me, so I don't go there very much, but we are very blessed here in Chicago with a lot of comic shops, and most of them are really good. There's maybe one or two that aren't great, but I won't mention them. But I would say in general we have a pretty awesome scene here. Yeah, if anybody, whatever your local shop is, go tell them about the Schlub, and a lot of them are getting some promotional posters for the book, so you guys will hopefully see some of those hanging up in your shops. I'll have a few that I'm going to sign and make available when I get them, but it's a cover and it has our tagline on there, and turned out pretty cool. I think they're 18 by 24. If one of you guys sees our poster up in your shop, definitely snap a picture and tag us on Instagram or Twitter or whatever you're on. Those are the only ones I'm on, though. You won't find me on I don't even know what all of them are now, man. I'm old. I can't follow these things. I am excited too. Yeah, man. It's I am happy to tell this story anywhere, anytime. You know, but this is a big time, lifelong dream for me, and it's been a long road to get here. So I really hope people dig it because you know I've dreamed of this day for years, and it took me forever to get to this point. So, and I ain't stopping anytime soon. So get on board now. Get on the Cannon train while you can. I just want to keep getting better and making cool stuff. I got so many other books I'd like to do, and so much I want to do even just with this one. But yes, please, everyone look for those posters. I'm excited too for like when people read it to kind of get it's like seeing the characters is cool, but you get to learn more about them like right away as far as like kind of what they're about to some degree. But then there's so many twists and turns. I mean, I don't know. I probably shouldn't say too much, but there's so many cool twists and turns that just make it fun. Like I'm enjoying it's fun when as the artist you have scripts that are fun, to read and that you jive with. And this one was one where anytime I get a script from Kenny and Ryan, I generally laugh, and I generally get excited about some kind of action moment, and I generally have some kind of cool art ideas just from reading it, and that's always the best. It's a lot harder when you get a script and you're not connecting with it. It makes the work a lot harder. But yeah, we got some really fun stuff with these characters. I've been looking at a lot of Michael Golden still is a big one for me, so trying to take some cues from him on these on like his line weights and his spotted blacks and stuff, if it's not that obvious. And if you guys haven't been picking up the other stuff that Kenny and Ryan are working on, I recommend it. Kenny's been doing some big cool projects at DC. Did that Flash tie-in, DC Mech, of course, and then Stegman has been rocking it on Vanish. I just saw the new issue. Well, I say the new issue. It's probably a couple ahead, but it's pretty neat, man. He's been pushing himself artistically a lot, and it's been fun to see. It's fun to see him draw other stuff too. I mean, he's great at Spider-Man, but it's pretty cool to see him draw just different kinds of characters and show a little more, show all the range that he has. He's got a lot of range as an artist, so. Of course, superheroes, I think in general, kind of force you as an artist to be. You have to have a little more range because there's so many scenarios that you're going to end up drawing. So I think yep, okay. I haven't missed any chats yet, but if I do, I apologize. So again, I just throw it out there. Cake, Chicago Alternative Comics Expo is coming up first weekend in June, so about a week or 2 weeks away from now. And I will be there tabling, but I'm also one of the organizers, so I'll be running around doing organizer things. But it is an awesome show to find out about cool indie artists that you probably haven't heard of before. And like we were saying before, we got some cool special guests like Matt Allison and Durf Backdurf and MS Harkness and Mari Naomi and Lei Luna. Really, really cool group of people. Joy San. Um, so if you're in the Chicago area, I highly recommend it. It's always been one of my favorite shows, even before I was an organizer, back when I used to just table at the show. Um, and then I will be at Heroes at the end of the month, Heroes Con in North Carolina. My first time doing that show. I'm really excited for it. And I will have a lot of stuff like original art and a few commission slots for at show commissions, and should be a good time. I'm gonna have my new prints of IDKFA and Game Over Man and Weed Priests and Ascend. So a bunch of my minis I'll have new prints of. Actually, maybe when I finish inking this, I'll show some of those off before I get off here, if y'all will remind me. So I finally restocked on some of those that were out of stock. I hadn't had some of those in stock for a while, and they turned out fantastic. I got them done by Print Ninja, and they have the domestic printing now, and it is really, really nice. Highly, highly recommend it. A variant cover by Dan. You know, that might be fun. If I, it might be difficult to get him on just because he's extremely busy at the moment. But we might. Of course, I would love that. He is one of my buds. I was just over there the other day. We were actually giving each other feedback on character designs. It was fun. He was showing me designs for his new thing, and maybe we can get him to do one of those. If you guys will buy a variant, if you'll get your shop to order a bunch of them, then sure, we will do a Danny Warren Johnson variant if we can get him. So he's an in-demand fellow, though. But he's working on some really cool stuff too, man. I cannot tell anybody anything, but oh boy, it's people are going to be pretty excited. They always are, but it's going to be really cool, really cool. So I hope to see some of you over at these shows, because I don't know what other ones I'll be doing. I do have an application at New York City Comic Con, but have not heard yet. So we'll see. Water break here. So I had never really drawn a lot of characters with capes in the past. So I was kind of like, at first when I was designing him, I was going sans cape. I didn't have a cape on him. I was going more with like a Kirby Fourth World kind of stuff. So, chunky and shapes and stuff. And I kept doing a bunch of designs with no cape. And then I think Ryan was finally like, so have you thought about doing a cape? Like kind of saying, why don't you do a cape? Because I want you to do a cape. And so I did. And it actually has been really fun now that I have it in here, because it adds like another element to show motion, or to show directionality, or to have some humor, the way it drapes and stuff. So I'm glad I have it, but I still feel like I'm not like adjusted to drawing capes yet. I'll go with a little bit of a scowl here. Yeah, Print Ninja does do some. They do my new minis. They didn't do any of my old ones, but I have used them for their overseas printing in the past, and that was really nice too. But then they recently opened kind of a division that can do some smaller print runs digitally, and they got a great machine. And so the books turned out really, really nice. I think people will like them when they see them. Like I said, I'll try to show them off here in a little bit. Yeah, Brunson, I'm sorry, but I can't tell you. Dan would get in trouble, as would I. That's the hard thing too with comics, but entertainment in general is like, whenever you're working on something, you can't really talk about it until it's like way done. Not to ruin it, or I don't think anyone. I think it actually is a good thing for people to know. Like, I'm already I'm almost done with issue 5 of 6 of the first story arc, and issue 1's not even out yet, so we're in good shape. We are not going to be late. But it's kind of hard because, like, by the time issue 1's out, I will have drawn it months and months ago. So that's why it was kind of fun to pull out those pages earlier in the stream and sort of look at them and, remember what they look like because I haven't seen them for a minute. Yeah, well, good to know that you would get the variant. And yeah, Dan's announcement should be coming not too long from now. Yeah, that's the thing, dude, is that I wasn't drawing the ears kind of Kirby style. I was doing these no ears designs, and actually that has changed. Because the other thing I realized when you're designing characters is that you do your best to really make it be the design, but once you start drawing them on the page, things are going to change, So I actually changed his ear situation in the series, and other little minor details do change on the costumes for different characters. But honestly, like, if you look back on just about any comic you've ever read, they do play with those things. And I actually like that. I think it's fun to see just different slight iterations on it, intentional or not intentional. I think it's pretty fun. So... I guess I'll also mention tomorrow, I think I'll be jumping on a stream with Stegman over on his channel. So it'll be a little earlier, I think, but definitely check that out too, because I have no idea what he has in mind. He's a goofball, so we'll see what he puts me through. But I think he'll be drawing some Schlub stuff, which will be cool to see. So I'm excited to check it out. But I'm not sure if I'll be drawing anything or showing anything, but we'll see. See what the boss says. I'm digging this. And I am going to just wrap this cape around here, I think. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words, sir. I see. I'm trying to have fun with it. These are usually on Tuesdays when I do draw. Sometimes I'll just flip through books for folks, like stuff from my collection. But when I do draw, I try to make it something that's fun for me, that's not necessarily work. Occasionally it'll be a commission or something if I really need to get it done. But if I have my choice, it's sort of a cool down drawing for me where I worked all day, and now I can just do something that there's no pressure on it being part of a story or anything. It's just for fun. So this is me drawing my own character for fun, or our character, I should say. It's not solely mine, of course. I do feel an affinity for these guys. The little guy, Roger especially, is a blast to draw. He's a little cornball, so it's looking tough. That's looking tough. All right, let's F with these letters here. Well, first, quote. Let me make sure I spelled this right. Is that how you spell Sears? It's got to be right. Yeah. 1 minute. My neighbors upstairs are actually moving out, so they're making a lot of noise up there because they're packing. Hope that's not too distracting. Sad to see them go. They're nice neighbors. They're moving to Michigan, where like everyone else I know lives. But I wish them the best. They've been great neighbors. Hope I get good neighbors after they leave. You know how that is. You know, sometimes you got good neighbors and sometimes you don't got good neighbors. So I've been pretty fortunate in a lot of cases. I've had a couple real bad situations, but I think we all have to have something like that in our life at some point. These letters are fun too here. All right. I think we're ready to get rid of some of these pencils. Well, let me just do one more. Get some water here. I will be doing a signing for the Schlub, actually. I've already gotten that in the pipe, so I will be at Challengers here in Chicago. And let me tell you, it'll be worth the trip if you live anywhere nearby to come on up, get some stuff signed. I'm going to have a bunch of my other work there for sale as well. Challengers is a great shop. They have tons of things in stock that if you come up, you might be able to find that you can't find wherever you're at. And I've known Patrick. Patrick who runs Challengers. He's a dear friend. He actually used to work at Graham Cracker Comics downtown. And when I was a young college student, and I made my very first comic that I printed myself and bound myself and took it to Challengers to sell, and Patrick was the first person to help me get my comic up there in the shop for sale. And I will always be in his debt for that. He is a great person that loves comics, and I've really enjoyed being able to be in his vicinity for this amount of time. He's always part of the comic scene. He's one of our mainstays here in Chicago, and runs a great shop. So I'm going to do my signing there at Challengers, and should be a blast. And we'll see if anyone else will be joining me. It's TBD, but I will 100% be there. There has not been an official announcement yet, so don't bother Challengers about it. But I will be there on August 23rd with this guy. There we go. That's looking nice. All right, let's fill this in a little bit. Nice, yeah. I mean, there you go, Stinker Buns. Like, lighthearted action adventure. I mean, like I said, there is some serious stuff in it, but I would say it is just a fun book, you know? And I don't know. I think that's sort of missing right now. I think that everything is very serious, and you can be serious and still be fun, but I don't feel like I see that a lot. And so that was definitely something that we wanted to get across in the comic is like, you know, a different sort of feeling than maybe you're getting from other things. A lot of the legacy type heroes do have so much history and so much going on that it's hard for them to feel, you know, not weighed down by that a bit. So, you know, a fresh face with a fresh story. I don't think we're getting enough of that. So, let's throw something else into the mix here. I need a break from serious, that's for sure. I'm a serious guy, honestly. And, you know, comics are one of the few things that just bring me a lot of joy. So, if I can pass that along a little bit, I think that that's a good thing. Oh yeah, thanks for the reminder there. Like and subscribe, everyone. Honestly, though, the doing those things helps. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to make comics, right? But if I can have more people that get something out of this part of the process, but also, you know, more people to learn about what I'm working on, that would be great. Because then I can make more of it for a longer time, and it's more work for everybody to see. If I don't make any money doing this, I have to quit and do something else, which I really, really don't want to do. I've been there and done that. So yeah, anything to help if you guys want to spread the word and like and subscribe. I guess you're supposed to hit the bell, which I never used to do on the things I subscribe to, but I finally started doing it, and it's helped me not miss a few different things that I maybe would have missed in the past. So like those sort of unannounced things that pop up here and there. Like with my streams, I don't always have them 100% like the time figured out, because a lot of that's dependent on dad duties. So occasionally, if I don't start at a certain time and you're used to that, you might miss it. So the bell will help remind you. And I'm not going to be spamming anybody, so probably not the best angle, sorry, but gotta get these little rib jobbies in here. Not 100% on that part, but we'll see what happens here when it firms up. I ooze excellence. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Just trying to make cool stuff. I think the world's ready for some more Tyrell on the shelves. Something like that. Oh, well, thanks, man. I'm glad Beef Bros got you into my work. I stepped out on a limb there to kind of try something totally different, and it was a really cool experience. And I think it's like made me hopefully a better artist. I think you got to try new things to get better, and that was me trying something different, trying to exaggerate a little bit more, trying to really just embrace the stuff that I connected with, from an early age, because that stuff still bounces around in my head. So I was looking at a lot of 90s stuff, a lot of games and comics from the 90s, and artists that had kind of bold styles. And then I was trying to filter that through this like gonzo concept, and it was a fun one, man. Well, that needs to be a little more like, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'll probably do another commission list once I finish this one up. I just still have about, I got a good number I still got to get through from my previous list, but my hope is to have a new list sometime around when the Schlub comes out. So stay tuned, but that's something people can find out about on my newsletter first. Those are the people that get emailed first when commission slots open up. And my newsletter is maybe once a month, so I'm not going to be bothering anybody with a bunch of emails and stuff. And it's probably not even once a month because I'm so busy and terrible. I need to post it a little bit more often, but it's usually, I would say it's once a month. Yeah, especially once the Schlub's coming out, I'll be doing it once a month for sure. Original art is great to own, man. Of course, I love it if somebody gets stuff, commissions or whatever from me, but I love having art too. Honestly, I'm always trying to pick up stuff when I can afford it or when I can trade with somebody. Um, I love looking at it. I look at my collection all the time. I got them hanging up on my walls, and they inspire me. They make me happy. I mean, the books are cool and all, but having a piece of art on your wall is a special thing. I really do think it is, and I feel special for having the pieces I have, and for having a connection to them, and then being able to own something that's so close to that. It's really cool. I mean, I guess you could get into the speculation part of it too, but I don't really care much about that. Usually, when I buy something, my goal is to keep it forever. But yeah, to each their own. Buy it for whatever reason you want. get some more. I need to get more original art. It's a cost. Cost is sometimes hard, but I've never felt bad about buying a piece of original art ever. And I look at them to this day and I think about what I spent on them, and most of them I think that I would have spent it again, or I think there's no way I would get this piece for that cheap now. Like it's very rare that someone has to really do something bad for their art to just be worth nothing anymore. So when I announce the lists, there'll be instructions. It basically, you just email back and it's first come first serve. So that's the best way I can do it right now. I've played with lottery stuff before, but I tend to just like to do it that way. So I usually tell people, hey, as soon as you see the email, just shoot me back one and let me know what you want. And if you're in line quick enough, you're on the list. And if you're not, I can put you on the wait list. And if a slot opens up because somebody drops out or something, I will go with the next person on the wait list. So that is my general methodology for commission lists. And so far it's working okay. It's shaping up all right. I'm not loving right here, but maybe if I just... I'm still kicking myself for not having bought some artist work in the past, when I could have gotten it. Like trad. There was a time I could have had a trad page for, I don't know, $400. And I'm like, you idiot. There was a time I could have had a Frank quietly for $600 and I didn't get it. And I won't touch it for that ever again. Is it difficult to balance all the non-artistic aspects of being an artist? Like social media posts, self-promotion, sales? Yeah, it is. It's hard. Some days you don't even get to draw, and those are hard days. Honestly, it's harder to just have a social life and to find time for your family. Those are the hardest things. But those things, the non-art parts, they're not great, but they're not the worst. I maybe am a little less bothered by them because I did used to have a day job and have to do things like those things, and so it's not like it's difficult, it's just more like, okay, just got to get it done, even if I don't want to do it that day, you find a way to make it happen, and you try to group things together to be efficient. But not every artist has that skill. I feel lucky that I have some organizational skills. If anything, I've gotten lazier though lazier on those kind of things since I got out of my day job. I work 10 times harder now than I ever did before, but I'm not always excited about writing back to emails because I used to have a job where I had to write back to emails like immediately, all the time, or people would get mad. And now I'm like, this can sit and chill for like a couple days maybe. But I try to be fairly prompt, and I try to get orders out on time, but it can be challenging. It can be when there's a deadline, especially. I'm pretty good at scheduling my time as much as I can. It is hard with a kid, but it helps me to get more things done more efficiently that way. And there's certain times where I just decide, well, this is going to wait because I have to draw, because I have to. The drawing is always the first in line, you know what I'm saying? And the other things are sort of a break, because honestly, you do get tired of drawing sometimes, and so whenever my arm hurts or my neck hurts or I just don't have any ideas, I can pack up orders, or I can update my website or write a newsletter, so sometimes it's a welcome break from the desk. Thanks, man. Thank you for the kind words again. I hope my style is unique. I'm just trying to be me, but I don't want it to look like anybody else. I do have a lot of influences that I think show, but I don't want to clone anybody. There's nothing wrong, I guess, with sort of taking a lot of inspiration from somebody. But I think you're eventually going to learn to just kind of, your stuff will just start to look like your own, or at least that's the hope. Yeah, sometimes a phone call's a little easier, isn't it? All right. I can't believe I was doing all this with brush. I need to get a pen out now. I'm enjoying this brush, though. Keep getting my head in there, sorry. All right, all right. Yeah, Joe Matt is pretty good. He's pretty good. I say pretty good. He's like a legend, but definitely look at Joe Mad sometimes. I had my Battle Chasers out for a while here next to me on the desk. Um, I look at him mostly for sort of like the way he exaggerates things and sort of choices he makes on what shapes to get exaggerated on a figure. Um, Storytelling gets a little dicey sometimes, but man, dude can draw, man. I mean, dude can draw. He's an absolute legend. I remember how stoked I was when I saw his art the first time, because it was such a bummer in some ways, because like all the image guys left, and it was cool because they were doing their thing, but then I still wanted to read X-Men, and it was hit and miss for a while. But Joe Mad was one of the big things that got me checking out X-Men again. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. He looks a little bit miffed, doesn't he? Actually, just the other day when I was at Dan's, I was looking. He has a Battle Chasers page, and I was looking at it, a Joe Mad page. Uh, Pretty clean stuff, man. Very clean stuff. I can't remember who the inker was on that page that I saw, but it was a good match. All right. Steven Sanchez, Joe Mad, Eddie Nunez, Danny Warren Johnson. Yeah, it's a good list, man. Good list. Yeah. Hey Corey, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Was it comics you found as a kid that made you want to draw, or cartoons, anime, or a bit of both? Yeah, it was all of that. I mean, I think I was kind of a drawing kid before I had really comics in my life. I would draw monster trucks and like Looney Tunes and big battle scenes and stuff. And then at some point, my dad, who had been a comic reader as a kid, bought me some comics and showed them to me and got me the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way as a way to help me learn how to draw better. And then eventually took me to the comic book store for the first time to buy my first comics. So my dad really is the one who got me into comics. I think I would have been a drawer no matter what. And then once I got comics, it was like, that was everything, man. I was like, this is the coolest. Before that, I was into like Sunday comics, Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield or whatever. But man, when I got my first comics, that was it, man. That was it. It's like for life now, And it's always extra special for me because it was something I got to share with my dad. And I think that as time went on, yeah, I got into anime and stuff. There wasn't really anime when I was really young. There was like Speed Racer and Sailor Moon, and then Dragon Ball, and then eventually I was able to go get things like Ghost in the Shell and Akira and all that, and start watching sort of the good anime from the 80s and 90s, not the stuff that's out now. And yeah, that stuff had a huge influence on me when I finally saw that. I would say, anime, comics, action movies, horror movies, and like graffiti art are probably the things that have had the biggest influences on me. And then just, fine art. I studied at a fine art school, so Michelangelo and all those guys, the Renaissance masters were always big for me. And apologies for the sirens, everybody. So yeah, it was all that. It was all those things. Yeah, I have some of my old sketchbooks still from when I was a little kid. I used to carry around little notebooks with me. I always had a sketchbook with me from like 5 years old till I don't know 25. I always had a sketchbook with me everywhere I went. It was like my security blanket. Um, Oh yeah, yeah. Me and my brothers, we generally agreed on what to watch as far as cartoons, but Speed Racer was one that I don't think everybody liked for in my family. But I did. I liked Speed Racer, and then Dragon Ball Z. Forget it, man. Psh, so great. Yeah, that's funny. The Renaissance Masters is the Turtles, of course. Um, I love the Turtles too. When I was a kid, used to draw them all the time. I draw. I want to do this in real, like now, like with my current skill set and in real comics. I did this. I used to do these drawings of like Ninja Turtles fighting a bunch of Mousers or whatever, or a bunch of villains, and I would like put two pieces of 11 or 8.5 by 11 paper together, and like draw this scene across of like this big fight. I would love to do that again, like remake that drawing. It was stuff that I still try to do now, where I would have like multiple characters doing different things all around the scene, sort of at the same time. I love that. I love that stuff. All right. This needs something. Something here. I'm gonna figure it out. That helps a little bit. Now here comes the police. All right. Now the question is, do I want to put any tones on this? Do I want to do anything else with these letters? What am I thinking? What would be fun? Kind of liking it as it is, honestly. Maybe a drop shadow on these letters might be nice. Inktober Ninja Turtles, that's not a bad idea. I'll tell you, man, I've been doing the Inktober story thing or like drawing thing for like, what, 5 or 6 years now. And I have sort of a backlog of Inktober ideas. And then every year I'm like, which one do I have time to do this year? Like, which one is feasible with whatever my schedule is at the time? But Turtles would be a fun one. I'd have to probably branch out into other characters than just the Turtles. I could do Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang. Oh man, I'd love to draw a Krang. That'd be cool. Or Baxter. Or there's a lot of great designs in Turtles. This is all right. I'd kind of like to see colors on that. Maybe I'll send it to Mike. We're yeah, so I'm always I did the Horror-tober thing one year, so it wasn't a story, but that was kind of fun to just draw characters, which is kind of what I've been doing now with these 6x9 cooldown things. And I have a couple different topics in mind for if I was going to do another thing like that. Turtles, I'll have to add that to the list. Atmosphere here. Did Ryan give me some early sketches of the book? Well, not really. No, he didn't. He had like a tiny little pencil sketch of like of Roger, the dentist's face, which I didn't really end up drawing him that way, because it was cool, but it wasn't me, you know. So they didn't really tell me anything other than here's everybody's names, here's what they do, and I just kind of ran with it. And some of them came really easy. The villain, Worm, I nailed him. Man. That was easy. For some reason, they just flowed out of me. Cirrus took, as I was mentioning earlier in the stream, just a lot of iterations to get right, and a lot of feedback from friends and from Ryan and from Kenny. But they gave me a lot of room to kind of do what I wanted, and I really appreciate and respect that. Kenny and Ryan have been super cool in the best ways to work with, as far as like giving me creative input and allowing me to be a co-creator on the book, really. And so yeah, so Ryan didn't really give me any sketches. I'm sure he had more, maybe. I don't know how far he got into the project before he ended up switching over to Venom. But yeah, he's definitely, he gives me a lot of rope, so I just try not to hang myself with it. But yeah, I designed most of these with the help of friends, as always. I designed all these guys. I think maybe next time I do a Schlub stream, whether that's next week or after, I'll do a drawing of the villain of Worm, and then maybe I'll do another one of Roger, so everybody can kind of see my approach to those guys. Alright, let's throw a drop shadow on the letters and then see what it looks like here. What do I want to use? Water. Get some water. Getting late. Okay, we're going to do these letters, and then Tyrell needs to do something that is not drawing for a minute. I have been watching The Good Place, which I had started before but never finished, and I absolutely love it. I am so glad that I'm finishing it. It has been recommended to me many times, and it's definitely my kind of show. I have always been sort of a dork that reads philosophy for fun, and the show has a lot of fun philosophical things. So I think I'm going to catch a couple episodes of that after this. I know it's old, but I never watch things when they're coming out. It just never happens. I don't know why, but I kind of like the distance of time before I dig into something, so that it's not tainted by social media and other people's opinions. I was kind of afraid, actually. I thought Ryan would maybe give me character designs that I had to draw from, but so when he allowed me a lot of room to do what I wanted, I knew I signed up for the right kind of project, because I've worked with micromanagers before, and it is no fun at all. It's the worst. At least with Ryan, it would be like an artist instead of some person that can't draw telling me how to draw things. That's always a little annoying. But so it's cirrus, like the cloud, or the clouds, if nobody picked up on that yet. And it gets very confusing because as I think everyone knows from the description of the book, it is a sort of a body swap type book, and so this is not Cirrus for very long until it's Roger. So that's another fun challenge I can talk about some other time, about drawing the different people in different bodies. It's subtle but fun. Okay, that's not bad. Still needs like one more thing. Yeah, Ryan, keep your damn nose out of it. You know, Ryan has had a lot of experience and success in this field, and I'm just happy that I get to learn a little bit from him and learn a little bit from Kenny and from all the other people that I get to work with. It's from Mike and John. I mean, you know, these guys are professionals, and it's really great to be working with true professionals that care about what they're doing. Oh, let's get his cape over here too. There we go. Alright, let's do maybe some... I actually hadn't met Ryan in person until after we started working together, which is funny. I had met Kenny before. Kenny and I had done a pitch together, and I had met him at a couple shows, or C2E2. And Kenny is just one of the best dudes ever, and he is going to take over soon. He is going to be one of those writers that everybody knows. I mean, he's already halfway there. I highly recommend reading anything he does. He's got such a passion for comics. All right. I still just feel like maybe... I don't know. Yeah, definitely. That's a good way to put it, Corey. It is a lot of pushing each other, and in the best way possible. I mean, that's why people get better, you know? Iron sharpens iron and all that. Okay. I think I'm going to call it. I think I like it as is. I think that's nice. I said I was going to do something else. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you guys my new books, and then I have to go. So if you want to see the new prints of my minis, which will be available at Cake and Heroes, hang on one second while I get that. Oh, where did I put those? Here we go. So I'll have these. Oh, thank you, Corey. I will have these at Heroes and Cake. So new printings of IDKFA, Game Over Man, Weed Priest, and Ascend. So Weed Priest is from a few years back, but it's been printed and reprinted many times and been out of print for a long time, but I finally brought it back. And now they're all in the same form factor as well. So, you know, Weed Priest is kind of my ode to Dope Smoker, the song by Sleep, and then this is sort of its spiritual successor, Ascend. It is an Inktober project I did where I drew the whole thing during October, and same with these. I did them both during October. This is my Doom fan comic. Got Doom Guy tearing stuff up. And then this is my Aliens fan comic, the untold story of what happens to Hudson after he's pulled into the grid. And I'm really happy with how these turned out. I think folks will really like these. They got a nice weight to them. The colors and stuff turned out good, and the black and white turned out really nice. So definitely come find these. And then after the shows, I'll try to have these available on the website again and at some local shops. All right, any pending questions? Oh, Justin, good to see you, pal. Justin, the owner of a fine shop in Iowa, In This Issue Comics. Highly recommend it. Will what be for sale on my website, Justin? I assume you mean either the comics or the drawing of Cirrus. Yes. Sure, yeah, of course, it will be. I am going to put this Cirrus drawing up for sale on my website because all these 6x9s I've been doing are actually been putting up for sale. So, and none of them have sold yet. So if anyone wants to grab these 6x9s, I will be selling them on my website. I have 2 of them up already. Cirrus is obviously not up yet because he is, I just drew him right now. So, and then also Omega Red, which I drew last week, is not up yet. So I generally put them up on there for sale like a day or 2 after I draw them on the live stream. So if anybody's ever interested, you can head over there. So yeah, I'll probably pop this one up on there. You guys should all try to get to it before Justin does. He'll be really happy about that. I'm Justin's old buddy, so I like to give him a hard time. Yeah, Cordy, definitely go check out Justin's shop. I will also be hopefully doing a signing down there. Me and Justin need to work out the details, but I will be down in Bettendorf at some point. And if for no other reason than to hang out with my good buddy, Justin, and his amazing family. All right, guys. Again, I thank everybody for tuning in, checking it out. I really hope that you guys will consider going to your local comic shop tomorrow and adding the Schlub to your pull list. I don't have the code, but if you go there and tell them it's in previews, it is a Diamond Gem of the Month as well. So should be easy to find. And I really like this book to really get out there because I think it's the kind of book that we need right now. So next week I should be I should be back again. So maybe tune in on Tuesday, and I'll see you guys then. Have a great night, everybody. And again, thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate all the support.